Warm greetings to you all, the virtual community and also physical community. I'm alone here, physical. Okay, we are all virtual now. Good. I'm really glad to have this final and closing session of National Applied Anthropology Congress, Anthropology for India, NAACAFI 2021. This is an annual event of the Anthropological Association for Humankind. This is a recently registered organization. It came into existence on 27th February 2021. And the major purpose of this organization is to bring the anthropological knowledge, understandings, skills, and the attitudes and the competencies and methodologies to apply to human problems in order to solve and improve the human conditions on this planet, to make the human life more better, because human life is so precious. And we anthropologists, we study humans holistically and empirically and comparatively and comprehensively, and we understand the human condition. We do all our best to understand what it means to be human. So anthropology brings perspectives on what it means to be human. For human beings, to make them understand what does it mean to be human, and what does it mean to be responsible and productive and creative citizens on this planet, to promote a peaceful social coexistence and to promote the common good and collective well-being, and to facilitate the acquisition of the required competencies that constitute character, which ultimately results in the nation building the wonderful human communities on this planet, so that it will have the brighter future and the blessed experience of human life together. So yes, human societies are plagued with the different challenges and problems and puzzling issues, and the climate change and ethnic conflicts and religious fanaticism and regionalism and gender issues and domestic violence and student suicides and rapes and violence and crimes and unwanted evils and social disparities and inequality, poverty, hunger, suffering, and many other problems that humans are facing at the individual level, at the family level, at the neighborhood level, at the societal level, and the global level. So anthropology, we, Anthropological Association for Humankind, the AAH aims to meet the global challenges. Anthropology meeting the global challenges and local challenges, offering what anthropology has to offer for the betterment of human life and to improve the human condition, to mitigate the risk. So these are the primary components of the purpose why Anthropological Association for Humankind came into existence. Its vision is specific: to meet the challenges that people are facing, to offer the solutions to improve the human condition, to make anthropology and anthropologists responsible for who they study. Till now, in the past and present, the major enterprise of anthropology is to study people in the past and present, and to understand them, to describe and to explain what they do and why they do. Period. But Anthropological Association for Humankind facilitate a major shift, bringing all the anthropological understanding and knowledge accumulated over the centuries. Since the inception of the discipline, we accumulate all that wisdom and knowledge and information, data available in the libraries, on the internet, wherever, and bring them and develop the perspectives and understandings and concepts, whatever all the anthropological theories in the past and in the present and the future. We want to translate this knowledge into wisdom by applying to human problems, to offering the solutions. So this is the purpose of this organization, why it came into existence. In that process, to translate our vision into reality, we have created some events. National Applied Anthropology Congress, Anthropology for India. In future, every nation in this planet, on this planet, will have their national congresses, and all the anthropologists in that country will come together and discuss the problem the country is facing, and they come up with solutions, and they assist the local governments, and they assist the local civil society, they assist the judiciary, executive and policy making bodies, and think tanks through their anthropological insights and understandings. This is the longer this thing, but at present, this organization was born in India, and it is not going to limit itself to India. It will lift its eyes and it will look around. It will open wide, and thinking horizons and coverage will be extended to the neighboring countries and to all the countries of this planet. That is the scope of this vision, and operational aspirations of this organization is in global in scale. But it began as a small organization, a small initiative in the local in India, registered in Hyderabad, Telangana, and now we have its first national event happening in Andhra Pradesh at the Department of Anthropology of Andhra University. And past 3 days we had event ongoing, and now we are in the final session. Yeah, this is the vision, dear participants and the wide audience who are watching on the online. So I'm the general secretary for this organization, and I have a wonderful advisory council and the governing council members. They're highly reputed people and very highly committed ones, because of this great support extended by our wonderful, excellent governing council and advisory council. We are able to do this event like this in a small way. So now this is, I request, let me try, our president will be available. After that, we can begin. Sir, good morning. Sir, this session start అయింది, మీరు లాగిన్ అవుతారా? మీరు పంపించాను సార్. Chairperson, sir, chairperson. ఇక్కడ 4 members ఉన్నారు, 3 members from different parts of the country and 1 member from Nigeria, sir. They will present their papers. Just I will read their names, and you chair this meeting, sir, and start, and then I think we can. Oh, okay. Just sir. Oh, then in that case, you can tell this the participants your best wishes and thank all our members. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So our president is going to log in. He's busy and he serves. He's Professor V.Narayana Reddy Garu. He served as the founding registrar of one university, Vikram Simhapuri University, and he served as a professor at the Sri Venkateshwara University, Andhra Pradesh. And now he is serving on the Andhra Pradesh School Education Regulatory and Monitoring Commission. It is a statutory body, so he is a member of that commission. So the government of Andhra Pradesh is giving a great importance to education. So lots of funds they are spending, and they are spending around 27,000 crores of rupees on education. For that, this is the commission which regulates and suggests the government the better policies and ideas. So our president, honorable president, Professor V.Narayana Reddy Garu is a member of this commission. So we are proud of him, and he's an excellent leader. So yeah. So now I request Professor V.Narayana Reddy Garu to chair this meeting, sir, and
Good morning to everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and I welcome all the delegates and the paper presenters. And we have come from the different parts of the country. And I'm extremely sorry before I chaired this session because I was held up since 3 days with my commission's work, and I was extremely busy with my my domestic ceremonies also, which was held on 9th and 10th. So that's why I couldn't make it myself to be available at the conference. But anyway, my general secretary is every day updating me, and I'm so happy that everything is going on well. And I welcome one and all. And I hope this is the last day, I believe, to conclude this national conference. And I'm very happy to chair this one. But anyway, people, particularly the eminent people who have come from the different parts of the country, they have attended physically and they have participated in virtually also. And I am extremely happy on one side, and on other side, I'm really sorry for that because I couldn't make myself to be available full time all the time in the conference. But anyway, I hope this today's proceedings also would go into the history of anthropology, and definitely already we made a mark in the history of anthropology, particularly at the Indian context. And we believe we are conducting international seminar conference in next year, December next year at Kansas State University, US. And I hope I will meet you there personally, and we will do our best to promote the anthropology. And so these are the few words. I welcome the paper presenters to present the papers, and the delegates also who have come from the different parts of the country. And I hope today's proceedings also would cherish and helpful to the subject anthropology. Thank you.
Thank you, President Professor V.Narayana Reddy Garu, for your wishes and
Okay.
blessings. Sir, the first presenter.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Sir,
Please
sir.
go ahead. You start.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Should I read the first presenter's name? Dr. Manish Chandra Tudu is the title of the paper, an anthropological study of the seasonal migration to the Santal tribe, with a special reference to Dumka district of Santal Pargana of Jharkhand.
Yes, sir. It audible? Hello.
Oh yeah, please start your presentation. You take 15 minutes time to do your presentation. After that, the question hours will follow.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Respected Chairperson Narayan sir, and respected Gade sir, and also Vijay sir here, and all the delegates. Good morning, all of you. I, Dr. Manish Chandra Tudu, from Ranchi University. Today I am presenting the paper, The Seasonal Migration to the Santhal Tribe of Jharkhand. So I present this paper bilingually, Hindi and English both. So we know that Santhal tribe is the third largest tribe of the India and first largest of Jharkhand. So the migration, the seasonal migration of the Santhal tribe is the one of the culture. This is the culture setup of this society. मतलब जो इनका जो माइग्रेशन का जो कल्चर है वो बहुत ही पुराना है. In this study, I could done in my native village, and I seen this type of culture since 20 years. पिछले 20 साल से मैं इस तरह का देख रहा हूँ. सीजनल माइग्रेशन, ये लोग वेस्ट बंगाल जो स्टेट है, वेस्ट बंगाल में खास करके संथाल ट्राइब लोग जाते हैं, और ये संथाल ट्राइब विशेष करके संथाल परगना के जितने भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट हैं, ऑल दी डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफ संथाल परगना लाइक दुमका, गोड्डा, पाकुड़, साहेबगंज, देवघर एंड जामताड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट, या सभी क्षेत्रों से बहुत ही संख्या में वो लोग काम करने के लिए मतलब समय समय पर वो वेस्ट बंगाल जाते हैं, वेस्ट बंगाल. और इनका जो मेन काम होता है वो पेडी या धान को रोपने और काटने का जो काम होता है वो सीजनल होता है, और खास करके ये लोग ऑफ सीजनल में जाते हैं. जनरली संथाल आर दी सेटल एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट, मतलब ये लोग अस्थायी कृषक हैं, और दे डिपेंड ऑन मानसून, मतलब वे मानसून की कृषि व्यवस्था या जो बरसात होती है उसी पर वे डिपेंड रहते हैं. और जैसे ही ये मौसम या इनका काम हो जाता है, जनरली ये काम जुलाई अगस्त में होता है, उसके बाद फिर वे लोग बंगाल चल जाते हैं या वेस्ट बंगाल की ओर अपना रुख कर लेते हैं. और अगर हम देखेंगे तो जनरली 50% जो फैमिली होते हैं संथाल विलेज, the 50% people are migrate for the वेस्ट बंगाल, मतलब वेस्ट बंगाल के लिए वे लोग चले जाते हैं. और इसमें परिवार के लगभग किसी परिवार के सभी मेंबर चल जाते हैं. ऑल दी सम फैमिलीज, ऑल द मेंबर्स, मतलब ये उसमें इंक्लूड रहते हैं, वो सारे अपना घर द्वार बंद करके सारे ही चले जाते हैं. तो इस तरह से जो एक संस्कृति सी बनी हुई है, मतलब ये कंटिन्यूशन से कि मैंने बताया, मैंने पिछले 20 साल 25 साल से मैं ये देखता आ रहा हूँ अपने एरिया में. और ये सालों भर होते रहता है। हर एक 2-2 महीना में ये इनका जो ये प्रोसेस है, जो ये सीजनल माइग्रेशन का, वो चलते रहता है। और वहाँ पर बहुत तरह का काम होता है। पहला तो धान जो पेड़ी का होता है, इसके बाद ब्रिक्स फैक्ट्री में होता है जो काम, ईंटा बनाने का काम। इसके बाद तो अन्य तरह का जो भी फसल है या जो छोटे मोटे वहाँ पर उद्योग धंधे होते हैं वेस्ट बंगाल में, खास करके वर्धमान डिस्ट्रिक्ट। तो इस तरह से वहाँ पर कई क्षेत्रों के लोग फिर जमा हो जाते हैं। वहाँ का जो कल्चर है, तब वेरियस एरिया से वो लोग जमा हो जाते हैं और एक वहाँ पर अलग ही नज़ारा देखने को मिलता है। और वहाँ की संस्कृति भी चेंज हो जाते हैं। जैसे वो अपना घर में जो रहते थे या अपने घर में जिस तरह की संस्कृति होता था, वो उससे बिल्कुल चेंज हो जाता। वेरियस एरिया से पीपुल वहाँ पर आ जाते हैं और वो एक बटा हुआ रहता है। जो वहाँ के जो मालिक होते हैं या जो जमीन का मालिक होता है, वो एक जगह रहते हैं और वो लोग एक हॉस्टल के जैसे एक हॉल में वो लोग रहते हैं सभी एरिया के। और जो भी काम होता है 1 महीना से 2 महीना में, मिनिमम 1 मंथ दे आर वर्क, मिनिमम 1 मंथ टू 2 और मैक्सिमम 2 मंथ। 1 से 2 महीना तक वो लोग काम करते हैं, फिर वो वापस आ जाते हैं। तो ड्यूरिंग दिस पीरियड तो सो मेनी विलेजर्स लाइक 500 to 1000 people are gathered in one place। और ये सभी विभिन्न जगहों से आए हुए होते हैं और इस तरह से आए हुए रहने के कारण उन लोगों में विभिन्न तरह का एक्टिविटी वहां पर देखने को मिलता है। अपना जो काम है जो तो वो लोग करते ही हैं, जो काम करने के लिए गए हैं, जो आर्थिक काम है, जो दे डू देयर इकोनॉमिक वर्क। आफ्टर दिस, इसके बाद भी बहुत तरह का सोशली वो इंटरप्रेशन होता है, एक दूसरे के साथ वो लोग इंटरफेयर करते हैं। और क्योंकि बहुत जगह के लोग वहां पर रहते हैं, तो उस कारण से उन लोगों में बहुत तरह का सामाजिक या सोशल रिलेशन बन जाता है। सोशल रिलेशन के साथ साथ आप कह सकते हैं कि वहाँ का फिजिकल रिलेशन भी बनने लगता है, क्योंकि वो लोग एक जगह गैदर रहते हैं सभी, जैसे कि मैंने बताया, जस्ट लाइक ए हॉस्टल लाइफ। एक ही हॉल में वो लोग का सारा सोना रहता है और वहाँ पर छोटे से बड़े सभी ऑल एजेस ग्रुप के लोग रहते हैं, छोटे बच्चे भी रहते हैं, उससे बड़े और बुजुर्ग लोग। इस तरह से वहाँ का संस्कृति अलग तरह का बन जाता है। और इस तरह का सीजनल माइग्रेशन साल में 3 से 4 बार देखने को मिलता है। दिस टाइम ऑफ सीजनल माइग्रेशन दे माइग्रेट 3 to 4 टाइम इन अ ईयर। जनवरी टू मार्च, आफ्टर दैट इसके बाद जब वे लोग आते हैं वापस, तो फिर शादी का उसका मैरिज का सीजन शुरू हो जाता है। संथाल परगना में खास करके वो लोग गर्मी में शादी करते हैं। इसके बाद होता है कि फिर जैसे ही शादी का सीजन खत्म हो जाता है या मार्च अप्रैल मई खत्म हो जाता है, तो फिर वो लोग 1 महीना के लिए, मतलब बरसात से पहले, फिर वो लोग काम करने जाते हैं। बहुत तरह का, जैसे ब्रिक फैक्ट्री हो गया, ईटा बनाने का जो कारखाना होता है, उसमें काम करने के लिए जाते हैं। फिर वहाँ 1-1.5 महीना रह करके फिर वापस आते हैं और फिर अपना जो यहाँ का खेती का काम होता है वे लोग करते हैं अपना गांव में या अपना खेतों में। फिर उसको करने के बाद फिर 2 महीना बाद अगस्त में, जनरली अगस्त तक में सारा काम हो जाने के बाद फिर से वो लोग माइग्रेट कर जाते हैं उसी जगह पर वहाँ की खेती करने के लिए। तो इस तरह से ये प्रोसेस चलते रहता है वो लोग का साल में 3 से 4 बार। और इस तरह का जो माइग्रेशन होता है वो विशेष करके इसके पीछे बहुत सारा कारण है, इसीलिए वो लोग माइग्रेट। फर्स्ट कारण तो यह है कि अब वो लोग क्या करेंगे, जैसे अपना जो मेनली वो लोग का काम खेती का ही होता है, जो जैसे कि मैंने बताया सेटल एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट। इसके बाद खेती के बाद वो लोग खाली समय हो जाता है, फिर दूसरा काम कुछ बचता नहीं है। उसी खाली समय में वो लोग जाते हैं काम करने के लिए। इसको इसके माध्यम से वो अपनी आर्थिक व्यवस्था को मजबूत करने की कोशिश करते हैं। और वहाँ का जो वेस्ट बंगाल का जो लोग को दैनिक मजदूरी मिलता है, डेली वेजेज का जो रेट होता है वो 250 से 300 रुपया तक होता है पर पर्सन का, प्रत्येक आदमी का। और इस तरह से अगर जनरली वो लोग 10 से 15 हजार तक कमा लेते हैं, मतलब एक पर्सन या एक आदमी। इसी तरह से अगर एक फैमिली का 3-4 आदमी लोग जाते हैं तो इस हिसाब से वो 20 से 30 हजार तक वो लोग कमा लेते हैं, मतलब एक महीना में। तो इस तरह से हम लोग देखते हैं कि वो लोग के आर्थिक के हिसाब से तो ठीक है, वो लोग कमा लेते हैं। लेकिन दूसरी तरफ है कि इसके वजह से वो लोग बहुत तरह का, अगर सामाजिक तौर पर देखा जाए या वो लोग का कल्चरल दृष्टि से देखा जाए तो बहुत सारा उन लोगों को परेशानी या सामाजिक रूप से, सांस्कृतिक रूप से घाटा भी उठाना पड़ता है, तो लोग को लॉस होता है। द लॉस देयर, अगर हम लोग उसका दूसरा पक्ष देखेंगे तो उन लोगों को या उन लोगों के द्वारा बहुत सारा चीज अपनी संस्कृति का वो लोग मिस करते हैं। जैसे बहुत सारा ऐसे प्रोग्राम या फेस्टिवल रहते हैं जिनमें वो लोग शामिल नहीं हो पाते हैं गांव की, क्योंकि वो जनरली वहीं रहते हैं ज़्यादातर मेंबर, और गांव जो होता है वो खाली खाली सा महसूस होता है, क्योंकि जनरली 40 से 50% जो गांव के पॉपुलेशन का होता है वो लोग वहीं रहते हैं, मतलब आउट ऑफ स्टेशन बंगाल में रहते हैं। इस कारण से जो प्रोसेस रहता है, लर्निंग प्रोसेस सोसाइटी को, मैंने वन जनरेशन टू अदर जनरेशन, तो इसको वो लोग कहीं ना कहीं वर्तमान समय में ये लोग उस चीज को मिस करते हैं, या वो जनरेशन गैप माने बढ़ गया है, क्योंकि उन पर्व त्योहारों या विभिन्न तरह के उत्सवों में नहीं रहने के कारण उसको सही रूप में आगे नहीं बढ़ाया जा रहा है, या उसमें उपस्थिति की कमी देखी जा रही है। और जनरेशन गैप इस तरह से, मतलब लोगों का इकट्ठा नहीं हो पाना भी एक उसके सोसाइटी या सामाजिक दृष्टि से एक हानि ही हो रही है। और जैसे कि वही कहा कि लर्निंग प्रोसेस माने खत्म हो रहा है। जनरली गांव में भी लोग काम ही करते हैं सारे साल भर, लेकिन जब पर्व त्योहार का समय आता है तो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन को या छोटे लोगों को सीखने का मौका मिलता है, बहुत सारा कल्चरल या जो पारंपरिक चीजें होती है, तो उसको फिर वो लोग मिस करते हैं जो आउट ऑफ स्टेशन रहते हैं, इस कारण से। तो इस वजह से इसके साथ साथ विलेज जो यूनिटी रहता है, विलेज के लोगों का जो आपसी यूनिटी रहता है, एक दूसरे से इंटरेक्शन या इंटरेक्ट नहीं होने से फिर यूनिटी में भी असर पड़ता है, क्योंकि पर्व त्योहार या अन्य तरह के जो फंक्शन होते हैं वही एक ऐसा मौका होता है जब हम लोग अपने जो बुजुर्ग हैं या बड़े होते हैं उन लोगों से हम लोग सीखते हैं, या समाज के बारे में बहुत सारा चीज सिखाने को वो लोग भी आगे रहते हैं। वो जब उस समय का यूज नहीं हो पाता है तो फिर इस तरह से समाज या गांव को लॉस ही होता है। तो इसके साथ साथ हम लोग देखते हैं जनरली वहाँ पर गैदर रहते हैं वेरियस, मतलब वेरियस विलेजर्स वहाँ पर रहते हैं, बहुत सारे गांव के आए हुए एक जगह ही रहते हैं। वो हर एक गांव में होता है। इस गांव में जो यहाँ का जो जमींदार होता है या जो मालिक होता है उसके यहाँ 500 से 500-600 आदमी रहते हैं, फिर उसी तरह से दूसरा गांव में फिर उसी तरह से रहते हैं। तो इसमें क्या होता है कि एक जगह रहने से जो अनमेरिड जो बॉयज और गर्ल्स होते हैं, जो अनमेरिड लड़के लड़कियां होती हैं, तो उन लोगों में भी फिर अट्रैक्शन हो जाता है, क्योंकि एक साथ रहते हैं वहां पर। और इसके वजह से क्या होता है कि बहुत सी ऐसी जो शादी होती है जो बहुत तरह का वैसे भी ट्राइबल में तो होती ही है, और उसमें वही अपहरण विवाह का जो बोलते हैं या वहीं से भाग जाना, जो कुंडल नपम बहुत तरह का विवाह होता है, जो उसमें बहुत ही इजाफा हो रहा है। वर्तमान समय में भी उस तरह का बहुत सारे देखने, अपने पसंद से ही वो लोग लड़का लड़की फिर उधर में ही मिल जाते हैं, क्योंकि वहां पर उस तरह का माहौल ही रहता है। तो छोटी उम्र में ही, और खास करके ये जब छोटे लड़के काम करने लायक हो जाते हैं तो उनको ले जाया जाता है साथ में, तो वहां से फिर वो लोग अपना जीवन साथी चुन लेते हैं। तो उस तरह का कल्चर अभी भी बहुत माने इसमें है, प्रैक्टिसेस में अभी भी देखने को मिलती है। और जैसा कि इस अब इस विवाह का एक तरीका तो है ही, इसके कारण जो माइग्रेशन के कारण इस तरह का बहुत ज्यादा ही इजाफा हो रहा है अभी के समय में। और इसका एक लॉस ये भी हो रहा है कि जो इस तरह से जो भी लोग विवाह करते हैं, हालांकि विवाह का तरीका एक मान्यता दी गई है समाज में, लेकिन उतना रिस्पेक्ट नहीं मिल पाता है जितना कि और सब मैंने विवाह का तरीका है। तो इस तरह से विवाह किया, कभी कभी विरोध का सामना भी करना पड़ता है फैमिली के जो गार्जियन होते हैं उसके तरफ से। तो ये सब होते रहता है, लेकिन ये सब वहां पर होता है। एक माइग्रेशन के कारण जो वो लोग जाते हैं तो अपना आर्थिक व्यवस्था तो फुलफिल, आर्थिक जो आय होता है उसका फुलफिल होता है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ अन्य तरह का जो सोशल ये है वो भी बहुत सारा वहां पर घटित होता है। और ये हम देखते हैं कि बहुत ही वहाँ का जीवन माने अच्छा नहीं होता है। वो लोग सुबह में 3 बजे ही खाना करके रेडी कर लेते। वहाँ का जो काम करने का तरीका होता है, वहाँ ठेका में दिया जाता है कि एक पूरा दिन का नहीं होता है, एक ठेका में दिया जाता है कि इतना एकड़ में आपको काम करना है, आप इतना पैसा दिया जाएगा। इतना आदमी है तो उसको वो लोग सुबह में ही कर लेते हैं, फिर 2-3 घंटा अपना काम करके 9-10 बजे तक में फिर आ जाते हैं। फिर इसके बाद वो लोग फ्री रहते हैं अपना, और फिर एक्स्ट्रा टाइम अगर जिनको काम करने का तो फिर उनको एक्स्ट्रा वेजेज मिलता है। तो फिर इसके साथ साथ लास्ट में जब काम वो लोग करते हैं, जो माइग्रेट किए हुए जितना भी वहाँ पर गए हुए रहते हैं, फिर वो लोग साथ में चावल और दाल सब, अगर मैंने अलग सीजन में, अगर चावल का सीजन है धान काटने का, तो वो चावल भी लेते आते हैं 1-1 2-2 बोरा। और फिर उसी का अगर गर्मी के मौसम में गए हैं उससे पहले, तो फिर हर एक चीज इससे प्रभावित होता है ना। अगर शादी का भी, अगर समाज में कोई परिवार गरीब रहता है तो वो लोग सबसे पहले वही बंगाल काम करने के लिए जाते हैं, पूरा सब परिवार के मेंबर। और वहां से फिर अपना अर्न करके जो भी पैसा होता है इसके साथ साथ चावल सब भी वो लोग आकर के फिर यहाँ पर अपना समाज में शादी का प्रोग्राम ये सारा चीज अरेंज करते हैं। तो इस तरह से हम देखते हैं कि संथाल परगना के, विशेष करके दुमका डिस्ट्रिक्ट के जो भी ट्राइबल हैं, ये संथाल ट्राइब हैं, उनमें सीजनल माइग्रेशन का उनके सोसाइटी के लिए बहुत बड़ा रोल है। अभी तक जो मैंने देखने में या समझ में पाया हूँ अभी तक, उनका सीजनल माइग्रेशन के वजह से उनका समाज में सभी तरह का एस्पेक्ट जो मैंने प्रभावित होता है, और उसी एक कल्चर जैसा बन गया है। तो एक हिसाब इकोनॉमिक दृष्टि से देखें, अगर इकोनॉमिकली तो ठीक है वो लोग कमा रहे हैं, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ हम जैसे कि बताए कि बहुत सारा वो लोग अपना पारंपरिक चीजों को भी भूलते जा रहे हैं। उस कारण से मतलब उस इवेंट में वो लोग शामिल नहीं होने से उस तरह का गैप देखने को मिल रहा है या लेक देखने को मिल रहा है। दूसरा है कि अब इस तरह का जो लेकिंग हो रही है या घाटा हो रहा है लोग को सामाजिक रूप से, सांस्कृतिक रूप से, उसको रोकने का यही उपाय हो सकता है कि, क्योंकि जनरली ये लोग प्राकृतिक या मानसून पर निर्भर रहते हैं अपने खेती के लिए या सिंचाई के लिए। तो यदि सरकार की तरफ से अगर इरिगेशन की व्यवस्था की जाए, खास करके बोरिंग के, जिस तरह से बंगाल में हम लोग देखते हैं कि हर जगह पूरा भरा हुआ है बोरिंग का सिस्टम, वो लोग का पूरा खेत में या हर तरफ, उसी तरह से यहाँ पर भी पानी का लेवल तो है, उतना खराब भी नहीं है कि नहीं हो सकता है। और उस तरह का व्यवस्था किया जाए। जनरली हम लोग देखते हैं मनरेगा में जो कुआं बनाया जाता है, जो लोगों को दिया जाता है, वो घर के बगल में ही, जो गांव होता है, अपना गली होता है, घर के बगल में कुआं, तो उससे वो लोग ज्यादा खेती या उसके लिए यूज नहीं कर पाते। बारी में छोटा मोटा सब्जी सब लगाते हैं, वो बहुत 3-4% लोग ही लगा पाते। अगर यही चीज को एक माने सुनियोजित ढंग से या एक प्लानिंग के तहत अगर खेतों में बीच जो जिधर खेती का जमीन होता है उधर लोग का इस तरह का व्यवस्था किया जाए इरिगेशन का, तो फिर वो लोग यहाँ पर इंगेज रह सकते हैं। मतलब अपने एरिया में फिर वो लोग अपना खेती बाड़ी को देखेंगे और उससे आय भी होगा और अपना काम भी होगा, और इससे माइग्रेशन भी रुक सकता है। तो इस तरह से इसको रोका जा सकता है। और इसके साथ साथ और भी तरह के छोटे उद्योगों को ये करके लोगों को यहाँ पर मैंने काम दिया जा सकता है। या मनरेगा में भी बहुत कम, जैसे उतना छोटा छोटा काम रहता है जिसमें 15-20 जन लोग ही उसमें इन्वॉल्व हो पाते हैं। उसके कारण से मजबूरन उन लोगों को बाहर माइग्रेट करना पड़ता है या दूसरे जिलों में जाना पड़ता है। तो इस तरह से संथाल ट्राइब में जो माइग्रेशन है वो प्राचीन काल से ही हो रहा है और अभी तक वो चलते ही आ रहा है, या वो हमेशा होते आ रहा है वो। तो अब इस माइग्रेशन को रोकने का या अपने समाज के लिए बेहतरी करने का यही उपाय है कि सरकार, जैसे कि सरकार की तरफ से लोगों को सिंचाई का, अगर यही सबसे बड़ा कारण या सुझाव या उपाय दिखता है कि अगर खेती का व्यवस्था किया जाए सिंचाई का, तो क्योंकि बहुत लोगों से इंटरव्यू या अपने गांव के ही लोगों से ये सब बातचीत के क्रम में या उन लोग का जो किसानों का जो ओपिनियन रहता है कि यहाँ पर पानी का ही व्यवस्था नहीं है तो क्या खेती करेंगे, क्या देखेंगे, इस वजह से बाहर जाना पड़ता है 2-4 पैसा कमाने। और इसको करने से, इस तरह की खेती की व्यवस्था करने से या अन्य तरह का प्रोग्राम को ला करके माइग्रेशन को रोका जा सकता है, माइग्रेशन को। और उसके साथ साथ जो जनरेशन गैप खास करके अभी में, और जो लोग का कल्चर एक्टिविटीज में जो अभी का न्यू जनरेशन के लोगों को जो उन्हें उतना इच्छा नहीं होती है या उसमें इंटरेस्ट घट गया है, उसको फिर से लाया जा सकता है। और जो भी उसका अपना कल्चरल एस्पेक्ट है या जो उसका हेरिटेज जो पहले से जो भी आ रहा है उसको हम लोग बरकरार रख सकते हैं या उसको आगे बढ़ाया जा सकता है। तो यही था मेरे तरफ से आज का पेपर सीजनल माइग्रेशन में। तो थैंक यू सर फॉर गिव मी अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर दिस पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन। थैंक यू गाडे सर।
Thank you, Dr. Manish Chandra. I have very little understanding of Hindi, so maybe I will go through your full paper so that I will get
sir. Okay.
And I request the honorable members who presented here to pose some questions to him and to give some suggestions so that to improve the quality of his paper and to make really applications, to come up with applications of what he can really suggest to the government and to improve the condition of the Santhal, the third biggest tribe, he says, in India. So this must be significant. So I request the honorable members, Professor N.K. Abbas Sarji, good morning.
Good morning. I would like to make a brief comment.
Please, sir, please. Thank you.
Dr. Manish, congratulations for such a nice presentation. In fact, I worked in Santhal Pargana in the year 1966 on developmental needs. So I could find some kind of emotional attachment to your paper, having worked in Gopi Kandar block and Amrapara blocks of Santhal Pargana. you are very right that the agricultural, particularly the irrigation facilities, that was lacking at that time, and as you say, it is lacking now, is one of the prime factors of migration. In fact, I don't know, from 1966 to today, it is more than 60, almost 55 years. And what changes have occurred there. But taking for the present day situation, I think that the migration is becoming a phenomena not only of Santhal Parganas or among the Santhals, but also of the in the entire eastern belt, I would say. If you come to Delhi and Noida, where I am living, you will find that 50% of the domestic help is from the tribal areas of Bihar and Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. So, well, that establishes the fact that there is a need. The attraction force of the urban centers needs to be counteracted by the developmental efforts in the rural areas, so that the one-way migration from rural to urban is checked, and the population shift from rural area to urban area has economic ramification as well as other social factors of which you have rightly stated. So thank you very much for this very good paper, and I am particularly beholden to you because it has taken me back about 55 years back.
Thank you, sir.
So, Professor Dr. Vijay Prakash Sharma Sarji,
but I was expecting that various processes of migration and the activity at the migrated place both should have been included in detail. But the attempt is good, and I know Dr. Manish, he had been my student also. He was doing the only thing is that the anthropological orientation of the paper is required. The second thing is the suggestions are required from the anthropologist, the applied aspects. Your research has no value unless you have come out with some solutions to the problem.
Yes.
So that the rural migration is a great problem, as stated by him. But what has been done by any agency or by the community themselves, that is required to be noted, and how that can be addressed. As Professor Ambas said, that the rural-urban migration shift is a phenomenon. Actually, this cannot be stopped. This will go on, because the attraction is not attraction, but it is the wage earning process.
Compulsion, yeah.
That's how it is coming up. So it's all the paper, and Manish, I think he will add some more information.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
any other member wants to pose questions? So then, thank you, Dr. Manish, for your presentation.
Thank you, Reddy.
I hope you will integrate the ideas and suggestions into your paper.
Yes, definitely, sir. Definitely.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
I request the next presenter. Dr. Bomonkiri Rongpi. His title of the paper is Indigenous Remedies of Some Common Ailments in the Karbi Household. I request Bomonkiri Rongpi to do your presentation.
Good morning to the chairperson and to the organizer, and thank you for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to present my paper. I would like to make a PPT presentation, so I don't know how it is shared, but I would like to share my screen. Since the host has disabled my screen sharing, so
I will make you co-host. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So I will share my PPT screen. I hope my PPT is visible to everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So the title of my presentation will be the indigenous remedies of some common ailments in the Karbi household. And I'll be making a very quick presentation because of the time limitation. As I'm in my workplace, I'm very sorry for that. So in the perspective of the biocultural evolution of man, the invention of food production bears a very special resemblance, and gradually it has become the fundamental right in the context of human livelihood. So it can be noted that particularly in case of tribal societies, different ethnic dishes are prepared with locally available floral and faunal resources, and such ethnic food items plays a very significant role in the material culture, as well as those are an integral part of their traditional healthcare practices. So the three basic needs that we human beings do require are food, clothes, and shelter. So I will be focusing mainly with the food items. So the people and its land. So Assam, I belong to a place called from the state of Assam. And Assam is a state which has a rich zone of ethnic and cultural diversity. The Karbis are considered to be one of the early settlers of the Karbi Anglong district, which is in fact the largest district of Assam, covering an area of 10,434 square kilometers. And they are dwelling in the livelihood in the lap of the nature. So they are very close with nature. They apply their indigenous knowledge and oral tradition to utilize the locally available natural resources in different contexts of their daily livelihood, particularly related to their food habits and the healthcare practices. So this is the map of Assam, and the blue color in the map indicates the district of Karbi Anglong, which is situated in the center part of the state of Assam. So as human beings, we are very much related to environment. Our livelihood is mostly based on the environment which is surrounding us. So most of the health conditions of an individual depend on the food habits, and they have their own traditional cultural practices and indigenous knowledge of the healthcare system. So it has been noticed that even in a number of cases, if they do not have the accessibility of the Western medical facilities, still they can redress their ailments through different medicinal plants which are available in their locality and forests. So the area which I have taken.
Change the slides. Please change the slides.
Yes, sir. I've been changing the slides, sir.
No, it's only one. Your title paper is coming on the screen.
Okay, actually, in my screen, like it is.
Right. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay, sir. Maybe some technical glitches. I'm very sorry for that. So I have selected 4 Karbi villages for my present study, which is Waibini Ngtiarong, Lokbok Rongpiarong, Ronghangarong, and Loringarong. Arong in Karbi dialect, it means village. So the villages in Karbi society, they are mainly named after the clan name of the headmen, which are being passed down through ages, through generation. So the study was conducted among 300 families with a total population of 1,755, and among them, there were 865 male and 890 female. So the object of my study is to know about the traditional knowledge of the healthcare system, to know about the food having medicinal values, to find out the significance of indigenous remedies found in the household, and to preserve the age-old indigenous knowledge. So the findings and discussion that I have found, since time immemorial, the Karbis have been traditionally cooking their food without oil and spices. They cook food with herbs like lopong, hanso, jirlang, which is a local name. It's a kind, they are a kind of garlic, wild turmeric, which are available in the hills, and sesame, which is used to flavor and the taste in Karbi cuisine. It is also believed to have some medicinal value. And meat, fish, and dry fish are very much favored by them. So there are 6 methods in which the Karbi follow mainly to prepare their foods and dishes. So the different methods of cooking with these are all the local dialect, Kalangdang or the Kiup, Kangmoy, Kipi, Kangtu, Kimung, and Karnupa Krengsoy. Sour and bitter dishes are included in their food system in almost every meal. So the Karbis, they used to collect the different leaves, herbs, roots which are found in the hills and use them in their traditional cooking. And the wild vegetables which they find it in the forest, like Dumkek, Tara, Hantu, Terklum, these are few to name which they collect. They not only eat them on a regular basis, but now with the changes in the market pattern, they sell them in their local market. And now some of these plants and herbs are planted in the kitchen garden like Jokan plant, Riho Hanche. Wine is also brewed by the women folk at home in their traditional method. They prepare 3 types of wine, which are called as Horpo, Horlang, and Arak, which is very much used in their traditional festivals and in their rituals. Horpo and Horlang is made in a container from dried wild gourd, which is used in ceremonies and is also considered as an honored gift and is offered to special guests. Horpo is taken to cure sore throat. So these are some of the tables which I have made, like some homemade remedies of some common ailments, like for acidity, which is called as pokkekang in.
I'm able to download your PowerPoint and show. Is it visible now on the screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Which slide you want?
I think somewhere around the table, sir, the slide. Yes. Yes, slide 14, sir.
Oh, is this the one?
Yes, sir, this is it, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
So for curing acidity at home, which is called as pokkekang in their local dialect, so a solution of crushed garlic and salt is mixed in a glass of water and it is drank. And sometimes it was also found that kerosene is also applied to, and they are massaged gently on the stomach. Then for acne, which is called kesoang te, the turmeric paste is applied on the affected area. And for cough, kepasi, which kepasi is the local dialect for cough. So they use different techniques like ginger, basil leaves are made into paste and they consume it with wild honey, which are available in the forest. So then the chicken is also boiled with a paste of ginger, garlic, pepper, and lots of chilies. So as a result, the soup is consumed and then the curry was eaten with rice. Again, strong black tea with ginger, which is available in their backyard, the locally ginger. So this was taken. And the next slide, please, sir. Again, for any type of caterpillar infection, most commonly, which is called as inkipole, which is mostly found during summer season. So it causes a very itchy and irritating sensation in the skin. And sometimes there are lumps on the skin. So what happens, which is a very common phenomenon, they take a handful of rice and was chewed. The chewed rice was applied on the infected portion and they leave it for a few minutes to dry and then they wash it off. Ginger was also peeled and cut into slices and they rub the affected portion with the ginger. And for boils, which is called as ingtum, lime was applied to the infected area so that the boils are matured soon and then they pop away with their bare hands. And if while consuming fish, some fish bone, if it is believed to, if it is stuck on the throat, then they take small balls of warm rice and they swallow it without chewing. And as a result, the rice takes away the fish bones which were stuck on the throat. The next slide, please, sir. So some of the local names of herbs or plants used by the Karbis as medicine. So musador is actually a wild banana. The fruits are eaten to cure dysentery. It is believed that the banana which have seeds, those seeds, if they are eaten while eating the banana, it is believed to have cured dysentery. And chongamok, it is the leaves are consumed, and it is believed that they cure gastritis or severe burning in the stomach. They have the leaf every morning. And wotungmek bok, if they consume this thing, it is believed to have stopped vomiting and also and it also cures nausea. And chilukame, which is gooseberry, the fruits are taken to stop vomiting. Torte, it is a star fruit, which are consumed, which are eaten raw without salt to cure jaundice. And perclum it's believed to control blood pressure. They boil the leaves of perclum and they consume the leaf as well as they drink the water which is boiled in it. The next slide, please, sir. So these are some of the plants which are available in the forest, and now they have started planting it in their backyard. That is elephant apple and that is rosella leaves, which is cured to cause this fever, which is believed to cure fever. Next slide, please, sir. So it was observed that the concerned people, the studied people, were intimately dependent on nature for their sustenance. The food have rich medicinal values and they used to cure their ailments. The natural resources, the ingenious knowledge, and the rituals are very important to the Karbis. It is a part of their cultural tradition and social heritage. It is in this little tradition that gives the Karbis the trace and tales of their forefather, as they have been passing these things through generation. And it was found that during last year, when there was complete lockdown, some common diseases like cough and cold, like stomachache, they cure it by the vegetables or fruits they find it in their courtyard and by making it into medicine. So they consume that and it helped a lot. It was found during my fieldwork. So with that, I would like to continue. With that, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Sir, please ask some questions and give some suggestions, sir. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
You have observed this. You belong to the same community?
Yes, sir.
So Karbi.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I was there.
Okay, sir.
So I traveled in that place. Yeah, okay. So wonderful. My question is, how far you see the reality, their belief about the healing,
Yes,
their local practices, medicinal practices, or folk medicinal practices. So between their belief and the reality, or do you find any gap? If at all you find, what are the gaps?
Sir, yes, there was some gap in some of the practices, but the gap was found to be very little. For example, there is a belief that sometimes they used to consume the meat of wild animals, which they believe to have cured some stomach ailments, but which that I find it very hard to believe. And practically, I don't know how far that is true, but I do believe that consuming the meat of some wild animals or bird, in some cases, there was testimonies that they have been cured after eating those birds. For example, like some of them were complaining gallbladder, they have a gallbladder stone, and then they are believed to have eaten like 3 times the meat of a wild bird, which is called as which is I forgot. I actually forgot the name of that bird, but someone had, during my field, they have shown me. That's why I did not include that in my study, because uh, I have not seen any, like, how far that is true. I have not found any concrete evidence to it. It is just from the testimonies that I have found. So these are some of the gaps that I find based on their belief and based on their practices. But then again, the things that I have mentioned over here, like for when there is any caterpillar infection, when there is any kind of insect infection, applying ginger, applying the crushed rice from the mouth, it really do help. I too have tried that during my course of visit.
So it helped?
Yes, sir, it helped.
Oh, that means you are sending a national level message that as an anthropologist, what are the few applications or suggestions or insights that you can give from your own experience, and you come from the same community, and
Yes.
you from childhood you have been seeing these folk medicinal practices, the herbs or leaves or fruits, whatever that serve the purpose of healing. Then that application part, what are the specific applications or implications of your study?
Sir, me being born in an urban area of the district, so I was not very aware of all these medicinal values. But then during my course of studies, I could find most of the things, and which I have never tried and tested. But of course, among the things that I found, a very few things are there, which was like handed over by my grandparents as well as my mother to me. For example, like whenever we have a stomach upset, whenever we have loose motion, they make us eat some medicine which are made from raw banana, from the leaves of guava. They are then pasted, they are pounded, and then that paste they mix it with water and make us to drink. After a couple of doses, it was cured, but scientifically, I'm yet to prove how effective is that. I could not find the means at all, but through testimonies from my field work, from my area of researches, from my area of visit, I could find from the testimonies of the people, they have told that those things really work. And when I was talking about the things, when during my course of visit, it was summer, and then I was infected with the caterpillar, this thing. Then they have asked me to apply that crushed rice on the place where it's infected, and it really helped. After a couple of minutes, it soothes. So these proof that it really is effective, sir.
May I suggest that since the Ministry of Ayush
Yes,
has been established, and Ayurveda and yoga and all those things are being considered, if
yes,
you could forward this to the Ministry of Ayush for validation, scientific validation, because I see that many of the ingredients that you are talking about, which are found in natural surroundings, have the medicinal values with regard to, if you analyze it on as a pharmacopoeia.
Yes, sir.
So your work may be relevant, and further analysis, chemical or pharmaceutical analysis can be made, and thus the things could be standardized. As of now, it is a traditional knowledge.
Yes,
and it is traditional knowledge in almost every society. There are certain things that you do because our elders have done and found it effective. But the standardization needs to be made. So now with the promotion of Ayurvedic yoga, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy, etc., this has come under a ministry and it has been recognized. So I think your work should be forwarded to that ministry for further validation or for further investigation. That would be really a nice step for further development.
Thank you so much for the suggestion, sir. I would really look forward to it.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, Dr. Bomonkiri Rompi. Thank you very much for presenting wonderful paper. I congratulate you for the presentation. So
Thank you,
my
sir.
question is, hello, am I
Yes,
audible?
sir. Yes, yes. I can listen to you.
What is my question is, during the COVID time, is there any specific medicine they are using? Is there any remedies, especially for the traditional medicine? Is there any particular medicine for healing that COVID virus? Because in my area, I'm living in Andhra Pradesh, which is one place called Nelluru. There is a one person called Anandaya. His medicine is rich medicinal values, and many COVID patients they got healed. They got cured after using the medicine of Anandaya. So it's a mixture of 9 herbal medicines. So government also approved his medicine and distributed thousands of people as a minimum cost postal charges, and distributed entire the Andhra Pradesh state. So my question is there any particular type, the type of medicine your community people are preparing? Is there any findings you find out?
Actually, I have not found anything which is called cure for the COVID, this thing. But then again, they used to have their own food items, which is filled with different floral, which has some medicinal values. But then again, I could not find anything which anyone have claimed that it is a cure for the COVID virus or the this one corona, this thing. But then again, it's just that they found that this helped us boost our immunity. And when we have some cold, some common cough, some ailments, some sore throat, some irritation in the throat, then they have their own indigenous remedies. But then I have never found anything which is related to COVID or coronavirus.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
There is a vast knowledge on ethnomedicinal plants available. So
Yes, sir.
the author will consult those literatures. So he will find how much quantity of the a particular plant, its roots, its bark and other things are used as medicines. And the value, the production value is also given on those literatures. So I will suggest that before enriching your paper, you should consult. You can find it on Google also, typing as ethnomedicinal plants used by the tribals. So this is required when you will have some value, medicinal values, their symptoms, how they are used, the process of medication, and also the market value of those plants. So this should be taken into consideration while you will be trying to enrich your paper. Thank you very much. It was nice listening to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the suggestion, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Bomokiri Rompi. Sir, hope you will come up with some applied aspects of your presentation so that the paper, and we are going to publish these proceedings, and this will be of great value for the wider audience in our country, not only in our country, and the other countries also.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you. So and now we have another person, Dr. Muktidani Kullu, to present. After that, we have a Nigerian friend also ready to present his paper. So first, I request Dr. Muktidani Kullu to present her paper.
Yes, sir. You will, sir?
Yes, we are able to hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good morning, all of you. सर, मैं अपना हिंदी से प्रेजेंटेशन करना चाहती हूँ। मेरा परिचय डॉक्टर मुक्तिदानी कुल्लू, पोस्ट डॉक्टरल रिसर्च फेलो, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, रांची यूनिवर्सिटी, रांची। मेरा रिसर्च पेपर है आदिवासी घरेलू कामकाजी महिलाओं का प्रवास झारखंड के संदर्भ में। झारखंड आदिवासी बहुल जनजातियां हैं और इसमें प्रवास एक बड़ी समस्या है, जिसमें कम उम्र की लड़कियां और महिलाएं अपने माता पिता का घर छोड़कर अकेले ही प्रवासी बनने के लिए विवश हैं और अपनी मेहनत के बल पर परिवार के लिए रोजी रोटी की व्यवस्था करने के लिए राज्य के अंदर और राज्य के बाहर आना जाना करते हैं। इनका प्रवास अस्थायी रूप से होता है। इनका शोध का उद्देश्य है उन सच्चाइयों की गहराइयों में जाना, तथ्यों की खोज करना जिसके कारण महिलाएं प्रवास के लिए विवश होती हैं। दूसरा पॉइंट है प्रवास के माध्यम का पता लगाना, क्यों और कैसे शहरी केंद्रों में महिलाओं का प्रवास बढ़ती जा रही है। तीसरा है घरेलू काम वास्तव में क्या है और इसकी मांग क्यों है शहरों में, इसका पता लगाना। और चौथा है पैतृक आवास में कम उम्र की लड़कियों का प्रवास से समाज में इसका क्या प्रभाव पड़ रहा है। मेरा यह शोध पूर्णतः गुणात्मक है और शोध प्ररचना वर्णनात्मक एवं विश्लेषणात्मक है। शोध सैंपल 100 लोगों का चयन है और तथ्य संग्रहीकरण प्राथमिक एक द्वितीयक स्रोत है। शोध क्षेत्र का चुनाव झारखंड के सिमडेगा जिले के अंतर्गत केसई प्रखंड है, जो जिला मुख्यालय से 120 किलोमीटर दूर है और क्षेत्रफल की दृष्टि से जिले का सबसे बड़ा गांव है। इसमें 70% अनुसूचित जनजाति रहते हैं और शहरी जनसंख्या 7.16 है। ग्रामीण जनसंख्या 92.80% है। अध्ययन का महत्व इसलिए है क्योंकि आदिवासी घरेलू कामगार महिलाओं का काम को लोग तवज्जो नहीं देते हैं, तो इसकी समस्याओं की सच्चाई को सामने लाकर समाज और सरकार के सामने रखना। तथ्य विश्लेषण प्रवास के जाने का मुख्य कारण है। इसमें प्रमुख बिंदुओं को मैंने पुटअप किया है। पहला है गरीबी एवं निर्धनता, जिसमें ग्रामीण अर्थव्यवस्था मुख्यतः है। सेकंड है शिक्षा का अभाव। तीसरा है ग्रामीण रोजगार की समस्या। चौथा है नक्सली आतंक। पांचवा है सामाजिक कुरीतियां, जैसे डायन बिसाही के शिकार परिवार। और इसके अलावा छठवां है जंगली हाथियों द्वारा घरों और फसल को हर एक साल नष्ट करना और नक्सलियों का ग्रामीण एरिया विशेषकर जंगल एरिया में घर में आके गांव में रहना। और प्रवास का आकर्षण कारण है कि लोग शहर में क्यों जाना पसंद करते हैं। पहला है रोजगार की संभावना उनको ज्यादा दिखाई देती है और दूसरा है जीवन सुरक्षा की दृष्टि से जाना पसंद करते हैं लोग। तथ्य विश्लेषण है। तथ्य विश्लेषण के अंतर्गत झारखंड में 42.16% जनजातियां गरीबी रेखा से नीचे जीवन यापन करते हैं। और विशेषकर ग्रामीण अभावग्रस्त वाली ग्रामीण अर्थव्यवस्था से भागकर पूंजीपतियां संपन्न वाली नगरीय समाज में ये रहना और जीवन यापन करना चाहते हैं, अपने जीवन को बेहतर बनाना चाहते हैं, इसलिए प्रवास करते हैं। और निष्कर्ष के तौर पर यही है कि ग्रामीण व्यवस्था से लोग प्रवास स्वेच्छा से अपनाते हैं और आदिवासी परिवारों के लिए प्रवास रोकने की चीज नहीं, लेकिन व्यवस्था के साथ स्वीकार करने का जीवन यथार्थ बन चुका है। और प्रवास चुनाव नहीं, इनके लिए बाध्यता है और रोजगार के विकल्प के साधन के रूप में ये प्रवास को अपना रहे हैं, जिसमें दिनों दिन इनकी संख्या बढ़ती जा रही है। और सुझाव के तौर पर सुझाव है कि ग्रामीण महिलाओं के जीवन से संबंधित योजनाओं और ग्रामीण रोजगार का व्यवहार विकल्प दिया जाना चाहिए, जिससे उनकी भावी पीढ़ी को सामाजिक आर्थिक सुरक्षा मिल सके। धन्यवाद।
Evening work untava? Thank you, Dr. Muktidani Kulu, for your presentation. We have here senior professors who know Hindi, so must be asking you some questions and give you some suggestions. I request them.
I want to make a small comment.
Yes.
Can I?
Please, sir, please.
मुक्तिदानी, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। तुम मेरी यूनिवर्सिटी से हो, मैंने वहाँ 1966 से पीएचडी की थी वहाँ। राइट? हाँ, तो बहुत अच्छी बात है। और जो मुझे लगता है कि डेवलपमेंट एक फैक्टर हो सकता है जो उसको रोक सकता है।
जी सर,
अगर वहां पर जो आपने सिमडेगा की बात की, मैंने भी सिमडेगा में फील्ड वर्क किया हुआ है और खेड़ई टांगर है और वो सब जो इलाके हैं, उस इलाके में जब राउरकेला बना था तो माइग्रेशन टुवर्ड्स राउरकेला होता था स्टील प्लांट के टाइम। बहुत से सिमडेगा के माइग्रेंट लोग यहाँ पर, लड़कियां खास कर यहाँ दिल्ली में काम कर रही हैं, उनका एक्सप्लॉयटेशन भी होता है, सारी बातें होती हैं।
जी सर।
दो चीजें जिसमें खास करते हैं, हमारे एक मित्र हैं मिस्टर A.C. लाल सिमडेगा से, तो वो यूनेस्को वगैरह में रहे हुए हैं, तो वहां पर वो बताते हैं, उनका घर अभी भी वहीं है, तो वो बताते हैं कि एक नक्सल मिनेस ये काफी जोर से उभरा है।
Dear Professor Ambassador G, we have some international friends also here.
Oh, okay.
Would you please?
I'll be very brief. And some of the emerging factors for the young girls, especially migrating to the urban centers to work as domestic help. The emerging factor is Naxal influence.
Okay.
And I have a personal friend who hails from that area, from where she is working, and he reports that the Naxal menace is such that people migrate from that place to safer areas. Lots of young girls, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 can be found in metropolitan cities like Delhi working as domestic help. I personally feel that development is the only way to stop migration of such, which is compulsive migration. It's not a migration because of attraction of the urban centers, but it is a push out factor. Pushing out factor is, and one major factor is the uncertainty of life in those erstwhile peaceful areas. Thank you.
So thank you, sir, for helping us understand in English.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Muktidani Kullu. Is there any other questions or suggestions from our virtual audience?
Sir, I have a question for her. Hello, ma'am. As you have mentioned that very young women are migrating to the cities or towns for the livelihood practices. So what are the mental state of such young girls, whether they want to come back and stay at their ancestral place or whether they try to settle in cities or town, or what are the difficulties they are facing nowadays?
सर मैं हिंदी में ही बोलना चाहूंगी प्लीज.
Sure, ma'am, sure. I can understand Hindi.
And she can understand and translate for us.
सर कम उम्र की लड़कियों का प्रवास के संदर्भ में देखा जाए तो वहाँ स्कूल की बहुत कमी है. ग्रामीण एरिया में, विशेषकर जंगल एरिया में 15 से 20 किलोमीटर दूर स्कूल है. तो सबसे पहले तो कुछ ही 5-6 क्लास पढ़ते हैं लोग, और दूरी की वजह से, जंगल की वजह से, नदी पार करने की वजह से बच्चियां स्कूल छोड़ देती हैं. और दूसरा रीजन है कि अपने रिलेटिव्स और गांव के 1-2 गांव के आस पड़ोस में लोग जो पहले से दिल्ली या फिर गोवा या कलकत्ता जाके वापस आते हैं, लोग ऐसे लोगों से मिलते हैं, तो उनका एक जरिया बन जाता है कि हमें भी कुछ करना है. तो जब कम पढ़े लिखे लोग हो के ये पैसा कमा रहे हैं तो हमें भी इनके साथ जाना है, एक इनको माध्यम मिल जाता है. तो इसलिए लोग वहां पे जाते हैं. और ग्रामीण एरिया से दिल्ली में रहने वाले बहुत ऐसे अपने एरिया के लोग होते हैं जो इनको मदद करते हैं वहां रहने, और पैसे की किल्लत में ऋण देने जैसे समस्याओं में वे मदद करते हैं. इसीलिए वे इनके लिए प्रेरणा के लिए उत्साहित करते हैं जाने के लिए. क्या मैं समझा पाई?
मैम, मैं ये पूछना चाह रही हूँ आपसे कि उनके मेंटल हेल्थ पे क्या फर्क आता है माइग्रेट जब वो होती हैं तो?
सॉरी,
मेंटल हेल्थ पूरे उनके दिमागी तौर से उनको क्या अच्छा लगता है जाना, या वो ऑप्रेस्ड फील करती हैं या मजबूरी है, ये पूछ रही हैं. ये
सर उनको इनके कई रीजन सामने आते हैं. जैसे नक्सलियों का आतंक कहा जाए तो रात में इनके घरों में नक्सली आते हैं, खाना पीना करते हैं और होल्ड करते हैं, तो ये असुरक्षित महसूस करते हैं वहां पे. जो लोग स्कूल ऑलरेडी ये ड्रॉप किए हुए रहती हैं, तो इसलिए ऐसे लोग माध्यम मिल जाने से ये लोग खुशी से चल जाते हैं कि हम वहां पे सेफ रहेंगे. और दूसरी बात है कि जैसे जंगली हाथियों द्वारा हर एक साल फलदार वृक्षों को तोड़ा जाता है, उनके जो आय का स्रोत है, खेतों को नष्ट किया जाता है, और फिर घरों को तोड़ा जाता है, तो उनके सामने आर्थिक समस्या हो जाती है. तो यदि विधवा महिलाएं हैं या फिर लाचार परिवार हैं, तो छोटी लड़कियां, कम उम्र की लड़कियां ही का एक जरिया बन जाता है, उनको रोजगार की संभावना वहां दिखती है. तो इस संदर्भ में वे मानसिक रूप से खुशी रहती है कि मुझे वहां जाके पैसा भी मिलेगा और हम सुरक्षित भी रह सकते हैं आर्थिक रूप से. ऐसा.
थैंक्स अ लॉट मैम. थैंक यू.
यस, थैंक यू.
Dear Gladys, would you please summarize it in English for our international audience?
Sir, she has explained that the young women who are migrating to cities or town, they are migrating due to various factors, like they are not having proper schools, or there is hindrance due to some natural resources, so that like rivers or hills, so they are not able to go to the school, and they used to drop out at the age of 12 or 13, and due to some Naxal reasons, they used to due to some Naxal reasons and problems of wild elephants, they are migrating to towns and cities, and in short they're happy due to moving from their village area to city areas.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Dr. Sudani Kulu, for your presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Even though you are not well and your family, you are going a lot of sad things in your family. Very unfortunate thing to lose the beloved ones in the family. We express our condolences to you, and may God comfort you. And as you are undergoing very tough time, we stand with you. We pray to God for the consolation to you and for your, because you said you lost your family members. It is very sad that you are in the tough time. We all will pray God that He will give you courage to face the challenges of life. Yeah. So.
Sure, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay. God. Now we have a presenter from. His name is Monday Nwankwo from Nigeria. His paper title is Prevalence of Undernutrition and Height, Weight, and BMI percentiles in Nigerian children and adolescents aged 1 to 19 years by Monday Nwankwo from Department of Anatomy, College of Medicine, Federal University, Lafayette, Nigeria. And his supervisor is Professor Barnabas Dan Borno. He is also the associate author of this paper, and S. Abraham Musa, Department of Anatomy, College of Medical Sciences, and Ahmadu Bello University.
Ahmadu Bello University. Ahmadu Bello University.
Ahmadu Bello University. So say another author is Seshu Abu Bakar Akuyam from Jaria, Nigeria, Department of Chemical Pathology, College of Medical Sciences, Ahmadu Bello University, Teaching Hospital, Jaria. So we welcome you here to the National Applied Anthropology Congress, Anthropology for India. Very excited to have you here, sir. We have a new governing council member for Anthropological Association for Humankind, Professor Barnabas Don Borno. So he facilitated his research scholars to be here to do his presentation. I thank Professor Barnabas Don Borno, sir, and yeah, I welcome your scholar to do his presentation.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Will you share your PowerPoint presentation?
Okay.
I will make you co-host. Yes, go ahead.
Can you see me? Can you see it now?
What? I don't understand, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yes, we are able to hear you. Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Can you see the screen? Can you see my screen now?
No, it is not visible yet.
Not yet visible.
Okay. Still not visible. I'm trying to actually share my screen. It's still not visible up till now.
No, sir.
Okay, maybe what we can do is that Dr. Gede can actually show this slide from his own end. Dr. Gede?
एक बजे कोई आएगा समझे तो वो खाना भी खाएगा
Dr. Gede? Dr. Gede, I'll send this slide to your WhatsApp. Can you share it from there? Dr. Gede? Hello?
Sir, please send me your PPT to my mail.
Yeah, I'll send it to your WhatsApp. You can download it, yeah?
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'll send it to your WhatsApp. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now I will share, maybe within 2-3 minutes. In the meantime, you can introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Monde Nwankwo. I am from Nigeria and a scholar from Federal University of Lafayette, just as you mentioned earlier. So I am currently a PhD candidate studying under Professor Lamborno in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, here in Nigeria. So currently I am at the final lap of my work. So part of the work is what I'll be presenting this morning. So part of the work actually is what I'll be presenting this morning. So my other supervisors are Dr. S.A. Musa and Professor A.Y. Akoyam. So those were the supervisors I have. And my key area of interest has been anthropology. So my first degree, second degree, and this third degree, all my research has always been on anthropology. So, and I hope that God's willing, if my PowerPoint is able to be shared this morning, I will be presenting part of what I've been doing for the past 3 years in the course of my studies. So, but good morning first. The chairman, I don't know, by our local time here, it's still morning. This is just a few minutes past 7 in our own local time here. So I don't know if your own time, I suppose this may be late morning or early afternoon, your own local time there.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, I can see now.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, the chairman, my senior colleagues. My name is Monde Nwanko, and I'll be presenting on the topic titled Prevalence of Undernutrition and weight and height, weight, and BMI percentiles in Nigerian children and adolescents aged 1 to 19 years. Next slide, please. Undernutrition continues to be prevalent in rural and urban indigenous settings in Nigeria. According to the Global Nutrition Report in 2015, every nation is confronted with a problem of undernutrition. So be it overnutrition, otherwise known as, which can be in the form of overweight or obesity, undernutrition, or both, a condition being termed as double burden of nutrition. Foreign countries, including Nigeria, are particularly at disadvantage as they tend to suffer from the double burden of malnutrition. Malnutrition among the poor and at the same time overnutrition among affluents. So it's very common. So this is one of the commoner problems or the double-edged swords that Nigerians face actually. So among the upper class, you will easily find them suffering from overnutrition or obese among the children and even the elites. Then among the lower class members, which actually form the larger population of Nigeria, you have them suffering from undernutrition. So Nigeria actually has this problem of double burden of malnutrition, whereby those at the upper class have obese, being prevalence among them, while the lower class have underweight prevalence among them. Please, next slide. Next slide, please.
Okay.
So before now, to our knowledge, no malnutrition studies have been carried out in Nigeria, whereby the study targeted generating reference percentiles for height, weight, and BMI for children and adolescents within the age bracket 1 to 19 years old. And also, no previous studies in Nigeria have attempted to generate the LMS parameters for calculating z-scores, such that after generating the percentiles for height, weight, and BMI, the z-scores formula will be generated with which one can now use to say, okay, if a particular child's weight or BMI was of interest, such that one is interested in finding out what exactly or where the child stands, or what's the point where this child lies within the normal curve. So such kind of work has not been done to our knowledge here in Nigeria. In order to address these major anthropometric limitations and to provide evidence of which nutritional problems exist in rural and to provide evidence of which nutritional problem exists in rural and urban settings of natural states, we designed a cross-sectional study to estimate the prevalence of undernutrition, otherwise known as in form of stunting and underweight, using the WHO reference data of 2007 for school-age children and adolescents aged 5 to 19 years. Next slide, please. So, material and method. Nasarawa State is geographically located in the north-central Nigeria. Nigeria is actually divided into 6 geopolitical regions, otherwise known as central regions. The north-central, the northeast, the northwest, the southeast, southwest, and south-south. Those were the 6 geopolitical regions that Nigeria is divided into. But Nasarawa State is in the north-central. It has a population of over 1.869 million. That's based on the 2006 National Population Census, with a landmass of over 27,000 kilometers square. The state has 13 local government areas. The present study was actually conducted in 2 of the 13 local governments in Nasarawa State. The study locations were actually selected using by lots randomly. Between 2018 and 2019, height, weight, age, sex, and social demographics of children and adolescents aged 0 to 19 years old were collected from these 2 local government areas. Participants in Doma and Lafia, or Doma and Lafia, were the 2 local governments that were selected. Those in Doma local government were considered to be participants from the rural setting, while those from Lafia were considered to be urban setting. Those in rural area, as you would have expected, are actually homogeneous. So they are more of the same ethnic group, the same ethnic setting or ethnic group. Their eating culture, the demographic, other demographics in that area are actually more of the same. While participants in the Lafia are those that were considered to be urban. So here you have them to be more heterogeneous because you have Nasarawa State having more than 10 ethnic groups. So these 10 ethnic groups were actually mixed. You find more of them in Lafia because they would have left their various local government, various communities, then converge in Lafia local governments. This next slide. Parents of most participants in Doma are farmers, while those from Lafia are predominantly civil servants, professionals, artisans, among others. Data was collected from 25 schools, nursery, primary, junior, and senior secondary schools in Lafia and Doma. Management of 5 schools, predominantly private, declined participation to the study, citing interference to academic activities, while boarding schools, special needs schools were not included or were not sampled. For infants between 1 to 8 up to 12 months old, measurements were taken during routine immunization, while information about the child are abstracted from the child health care card via interviewing the mother or the caregiver. Next slide. For infants above 12 to 24 months, information about this child are obtained from records kept by the management of the crèche. Children 2 to 4 years are sampled in nursery schools, while records and measurements of children 5 to 10 years were done at primary schools, while those aged 11 to 19 were performed at junior and senior secondary schools. For those less than 3 years old, supine length was measured using a length board, while cytometer was used for those 3 years and above. Next slide. All anthropometric measurements were taken according to procedure described by Lohmann in 1998. And trained research assistants assisted in the data collection and the anthropometric measurements. They were actually trained first, then the inter-observer errors were measured before they were now recruited or allowed to take measurement for the study. Standing height was measured accurately to 0.1 centimeter with the aid of stadiometer. With the aid of Herpendine infantometer for infants that were less than 3 years old, and by Herpendine stadiometer for subjects 3 to 19 years old. Weight was measured to the approximately 1/10 kilogram with a calibrated weighing scale. Fit scan BC 585 was used, while BMI was calculated by dividing body mass in kilogram by squared of the body height in meters. Next slide, please. Next slide. The required sample size for this study was 7,396, and it was calculated using the formula by Daniel 1999. So N was actually the desired sample size. Z was the standard deviation score, which was set to be 2.58. The equivalent confidence interval for that is 99%. For a particular confidence interval, P was expected to be the prevalence of proportion, and D is actually defined as a precision. For a prevalence of 50%, the precision was set at 1.5%. A total of 7,321 participants was the desired sample, and that was this sample that was actually collected, which actually constitutes about 98.99% of the calculated sample size of 7,396. School samples were actually randomly selected per local government. Next slide, please. Nutritional status, this is ASCA analysis now. Nutritional status was examined by converting measurement to z-scores using the 2007 WHO group reference. Z-scores for heights less than -2 and those less than -3 were actually considered to be stunting and severe stunting respectively. So while individuals whose BMI z-score was less than -2 and -3 were actually considered to be thin and severely thin respectively. And those whose BMI was above +1 and above +2 were actually considered to be overweight and obese respectively. The mean z-scores and the prevalence below or above these cutoffs were actually calculated by age and for each sex. Deviation from the expected mean of 0 was tested with a 1 sample t-test within age group, and differences in mean z-scores between boys and girls with unpaired sample t-tests. Next slide, please. All tests were two-tailed, and a test probability of less than 5% was considered statistically significant. The WHO SPSS macro for Windows was actually used to generate the estimated nutritional status, while statistical package for social sciences, IBM SPSS version 26 was used for the statistical analysis, for all other statistical analysis. For each sex and age, the LMS method was used to generate the smoothed percentile values and curves for height, weight, and BMI using the LMS Chartmaker Pro. Equivalent degrees of freedom, EDF, for L, M, and S were actually measured, while various statistical and visual diagnostic tools were used to guide the choice of final LMS charts. Next slide, please. Results and discussion. Next. So table 1 actually shows the distribution of stunting and tall stature according to the 2007 WHO reference in boys. So in the first column, we have the various ages of children that were actually considered 5 to 19 years, while N represent the number per each of this age group. In total, you have 3,423 boys, and in total, you have 3,471 girls. So from the column mean plus or minus standard deviation, you have the mean z-score for each of these ages. So aside from those in the age group 5, whose mean for z-score was actually not negative or within the positive side of the normal curve, you notice that all other age groups were actually within the negative side of the z-score, indicating that on the average, all of these children were actually malnourished or stunted, if you may. Then the 95% confidence interval was also indicated. Then the less than -3 standard deviation score also they indicate the prevalence per age group. So you will notice that children aged 14 actually has the highest prevalence. This highest prevalence may be due to these children at this particular age were at the transitional or at the pubertal age. At this age, these children actually needed more energy, but probably because of the nature of the parents or the poor socioeconomic background they are from, So the body of the children may not be able to have sufficient energy required for their proper growth. So as such, you will now have the prevalence to be more among this particular age group. And the other thing that is also key to note here is that most of these boys were more or less the breadwinners of their family. So they go to the school in the morning, half mind were in the school, half of their mind is also in what they will be eating at the end of the day. So most of them at the end of the school, rather than going home, they actually either go to their shop where they were learning artistry work. Some of them will end up hawking at the end of the school or at the end of the day. So most of the times, yes, they will be in the school actually, but the learning was often being interfered by the struggle to meet the family needs in terms of food. Then in girls, you also notice that the prevalence was also even more among girls, and probably this is due to the fact that for girls the energy requirements may be more compared to the boys, and that adaptation has made it that those that are at the age of pubertal stage, their body actually being prepared to womanhood, so they may need more energy compared to the boys, and probably that explains why you now have more prevalence or more stunting among the boys than the girls. So among the girls and the boys, sorry. So in total, the total prevalence for boys now, moderate prevalence now is 21.1%. While severe, stunting, moderate stunting among boys is 21.1%. While severe stunting among boys is 6.1%. That is total. While in girls, the prevalence of severe stunting is 5.9%, while among boys is 18.0%. So while moderate stunting among girls is actually 18.0%. Next slide, please. Okay, so this table actually shows the level of thinness and severe thinness among boys and girls. So compared to the two sexes, you notice that the total severe thinness among boys is 16.6, while moderate thinness among boys is 36.1. In all, the mean z-scores across all ages in boys indicated that they are all within negative. They are all negative. I say in the column, the third column actually. So you notice that all the mean values were all negative, indicating what? That all of the children on the average were thin. Then for the girls, the total prevalence, the total severe prevalence among girls is 2.4. So the girls actually are more thin compared to the boys. Then for moderate thinness, you have 29.5. As you would expect, the moderate thinness should be actually more compared to the severe thinness. So the moderate thinness among girls is actually 29.5, which is relatively lower compared to that among the boys. Then for the overweight among boys, you notice that the total prevalence of overweight among boys is 2.1, while obese was very, very low, 0.7%. Then among girls, the total prevalence of overweight is 4%, while the total obesity among girls is actually 0.9%. Next slide, please. So the table 3 actually is the LMS height for age LMS variable for the boys and for girls. Those of the boys are actually shown at the left, while those for the girls are actually shown to the right. So now the table here is has generated the smoothed percentile for each age, and for each age, the ranking was, the age increment was by 6 months. So as footnotes, the formula for estimating the Z-score of any child has been given there. So all you need to do is you pick a particular child, so for the age of a particular child, you get the parameters, the L parameter, the M parameter, and S parameter. You plug them in for that particular age and sex for the child, get the height of the child, plug it in, then you calculate the Z-score to enable you to know whether the child is stunted or is growing normally. So when you have the Z-score after computing to be negative, then it means that the child is actually stunted. When it's not negative, then it means the child is actually growing normal. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. So the table 4 is the smoothed percentile curves for weight. Again, it indicates those of the boys and those of the girls. This formula for calculating disease child indicated there. So all you need to do is for a particular child and for a particular sex, you get the LMS parameters, plug in the LMS parameters, get the weight of the child, plug it in, compute the Z-score. So after computing, the sign of the Z value will indicate whether the child is underweight, is overweight, is obese, or otherwise. Next slide, please. So then table 5 is a BMI LMS smoothed percentile. So again, like the other two, you use the Z value to calculate or compute the BMI Z-score for a particular child. The direction of the Z value at the end of the day will now tell you whether the child is actually thin or moderately thin or severely thin. So before now, the smoothed percentile curves for height, weight, or BMI for any of Nigerian children has not been computed. And this is the major contribution that this work has done so far. Next slide, please. In conclusion, in this study, we have provided new reference percentile ranges for height, weight, and adolescent for children, adolescent, weight, height, and BMI for children and adolescents, which provides a useful nutritional status assessment tool in Nigeria. The study reveals that a high prevalence of undernutrition exists in Nigerian children and adolescents, although the magnitude of the undernutrition is more in both boys and girls. The entire curves of school children and adolescents from current study falls below WHO reference data, and probably this may be due to the precarious nature of the economic status in Nigeria, although similar results have been recorded in other studies in sub-Saharan Africa. Next slide. These are some of my references. Next slide. And thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your excellent presentation. Monday. So yeah, I request the virtual audience to, if you have any questions and suggestions, to take this time for question out.
May I?
Yes, please, sir. Professor Ambassador, please.
Yeah, Mr. Monday, I am reminded of, I have been taken back some 30, 40 years ago. I was the head of extension division of University of Sokoto at that time, now Dan Fodio University in Nigeria from 1980 to 1984. And I used to visit your university very often for examination work, etc., etc. So old memories are flooding.
That's
And
interesting.
my work, yeah. And I also went in 2003 to deliver the NTI lecture in presence of the President of Nigeria as a guest of the government of Nigeria. Well, that is personal. But then now I believe that Nigeria has so many states. Earlier, Sokoto was a very big state at that time. Now, the nutrition, particularly nutrition with respect to traditional food habits. For example, the meat that is eaten, sometimes camel, sometimes others. Now, has there been any analysis of these products in terms of nutritional values and the growth relationship between the growth of the children? Because among the Hausas particularly, I found that the malnutrition was a basic phenomena throughout the northern Nigeria, the then Sokoto state. So how are you planning, or how is your study going to help in terms of proper nutrition with the indigenous food habits? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, can I respond?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Okay, in terms of how the work will stimulate the concerns about the nutritional habits or nutritional contents of meats in Nigeria, I think this is just a first step, and it's like a wake-up call to the government that, look, even though they have not taken into cognizance that nutritional status of children older than 5 years, because as it stands in Nigeria, one of the things that is often done is that whenever nutritional studies were, or demographic nutritional studies were carried out, what the age bracket they often targets were under 5. So yes, the targets under 5, but then even despite the results that they do have, that prevalence of nutrition is among the under 5, the question now becomes, have the government taken any decisive measures on how to address the problem? So the answer to that is actually no. So in terms of how will now meat or any proteinous food address the concern, the scope of my work actually didn't include the contents of the meal that the children actually take. Mine is mainly to look at the anthropological variables or measurements, use that to now gauge what exactly is their nutritional status. That's actually what the work is actually, the scope of my work. So I didn't actually go to the extent of looking at the nutritional content of the protein these children actually taken. But again, the result actually speaks for itself. If the children have been taking protein-rich food, I wouldn't want to believe that the level of prevalence, thinness, and stunting that we are getting will have been this severe. So indirectly, this work has actually shown that, look, there may be need for those that are interested in studying the nutritional content, e.g. the meat content or the meat value of the children. This work may maybe stimulate them to look into that, but the actual scope of my work,
Well, thank you.
The nutritional value of the meats these children are taking would be very, very poor, if any. And because the children are actually from poor backgrounds, so most of them don't even have access to much meat to begin with. So they are even more concerned about having some food to even keep them alive than having. So for them, meat is even a luxury to some of these families. So it means it's actually a luxury to them. So that's all I have to say for now, sir.
All right, thank you.
I have a question, Dr. Monday Nwankwo. That's how to say your last name.
Nwankwo.
My question is, I joined the Nwankwo. Okay. My question for you is, I'm very, very sorry, I was able to join your talk, at the end of your talk, actually, because I was traveling. My question to you is, these children, you have a variety of, groups, populations, in Nigeria, like Fulani, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. Are these children from all these communities, or are they representative of a single community? If they are coming from heterogeneous populations, how do you account for that variability, within the groups? That is one question. My second question is, it's great that, we were able to conclude that there is undernutrition there. In addition to these anthropometric measurements, do you have any data on cardiometabolic traits, for example, fasting insulin, glucose, or adiponectin, or something like that?
Okay, can I respond?
Yes, please.
Okay, with respect to your first question, the children that were sampled were mainly indigenous children from Nasarawa State. So even though I didn't include it in my slide, the inclusion and exclusion criteria. So children from any other ethnic group apart from those from Nasarawa State were excluded from the study. So no other ethnic group, the Yorubas, the Igbos were actually not included in the study. The Ibibios, anything outside. So it's mainly indigenous Nasarawa State children and adolescents that were actually included in the work.
Thank you.
Yeah. So then with respect to whether I included any biochemical parameters, no, I didn't carry out studies on biochemical parameters.
But Nasarawa has Fulani and Hausa, isn't it? This is the predominant population group.
Yes, though most of them were actually migrants, but the major indigenes were the Alagos, the Egons, the Migilis, the Madas. Yeah. So those were the major indigenous of the states. But the Fulanis, the Hausas, are actually migrants to the states.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, they're faster. Yeah. Do you have any comparative data, Dr. Nwankwo?
Sir?
Comparative data? No, yeah, any comparisons between your data and data of other communities, within Nigeria?
Okay, so far, no other work that actually has similar methodology like mine has been published in Nigeria. So this is the first time whereby individuals or studies were conducted with the interest in generating percentile values. So most of the ones that were actually done, most of them that have seen were marred with all kinds of problems. So it becomes difficult for me to make that comparison, one-to-one comparison. So because in my own case, I uses the WHO 2007 macro. So, but I've not seen any work in Nigeria that uses that same particular application in generating the percentile values. Then the other one for the percentile values that were generated. So I use LMS Chartmaker. I'm not seeing any work in Nigeria so far that uses LMS Chartmaker to generate the percentile values. So that makes it a little more difficult for me to make such comparisons. But maybe going forward in the future, I may now expand the work.
I have a question. Maybe I should say something before Dr. Gede asks his question. Good morning, professors and the audience. What we have been doing of recent is that we've been trying to build a biological profile of Nigerians Part of the study, Monday's study is actually one of those studies that have actually started looking into the idea of the prevalence of malnutrition in local population in Nigeria. And just like Professor Ravi was saying, we in the near future we will also get some other students who will actually look at other populations, because what we've been doing is that we've been building this information and data from various places and ethnic groups. Then we will extend it into looking at the metabolic profiles and associating this anthropological or biological or anthropometric variables to those metabolic profiles. And we hope that we are going to be drawing on the expertise of Professor Ravi, as being somebody in the area of looking at metabolic or nutrition and metabolism. We are going to draw much on his experience. So we hope subsequently that the other students who will be coming up on board are going to be looking at respective ethnic groups, across the country, the Yorubas, the Igbos. This one has just been done in the houses, in the people of Nasarawa State, and we are hoping that there are other students who are also looking at other populations in Kaduna, in Bauchi, in Gombe.
Bauchi. Oh, that's fantastic. I have a question, Dr. Don Barrow. Why I asked this question is, childhood obesity is, it's a, worldwide problem, childhood obesity. Along with the childhood obesity comes the package of, metabolic syndrome related traits, right? The clustering of, all the metabolic syndrome traits, So that's why I'm just curious, what you have done is fantastic, establishing the percentiles for the population is very important. And at the same curiosity is, is childhood obesity an issue in Nigeria? Yes, urban populations.
Just like Monday has actually presented, childhood obesity is not very common. Maybe a few prevalences can be seen in the upper class children, but generally speaking, childhood obesity is not a problem in Nigeria. And this is actually, yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have a question. Sir. Generally, it is understood that the malnutrition has consequences, multiple consequences on the growth and the weight and the maturity and all those things. But what are the factors that contribute to malnutrition? Poverty or the beliefs, particular beliefs that contribute to the practice, the prevalence of malnutrition, or what are the significant factors that contribute to the malnutrition? I think I'm curious to know whether there is any kind of ideas on that.
Okay, with respect to Nigeria, I think the major problem is poverty. So poverty is a major cause of malnutrition as far as I am concerned in Nigeria, because the economic situation in Nigeria as we speak has been very, very dire. So because it's very dire, so families are actually struggling to survive. So if families are struggling to survive, that means that that will also extend to the well-being of children and even adolescents in Nigeria. Because recently, you might have been hearing Nigeria has been tagged even the poverty capital of the world. So it will be given that a country that has that high level of poverty, it will be given that you expect that the nutritional status of children and adolescents in such countries should be very, very low. So the other one could now be the cultural practices. Yes, and will also be other factors that will now impact in the nutritional status of children. But the key one, to my understanding, is poverty. is poverty. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, it is very strange that when I was in Nigeria, it was one of the richest because of the rich oil produced. And at that time,
Exactly.
one naira was about 11 rupees in Indian terms, or $1.5. Now, suddenly it has gone down, and poverty seems to be one major cause. I don't know whether it is uneven distribution of money among the population, that there are very rich Alhajis and very poor people, or what? How do you attribute this? Just by curiosity, not related to your question, your paper. But malnutrition is certainly related to poor poverty.
Yes, because in Nigeria, one would have expected that a country with high potential of high economic value, so will have better standard of living. That's what would have been expected. That okay, with the large population over 200 million, we have oil in this southern part of the country, but poor governance have actually led to unequal distribution of the resources that Nigeria actually has. For instance, a dollar today, the exchange rate between a dollar and naira is over 500 naira, close to 600 naira, just a single dollar. And for a country that is a mono economy, so most of what Nigerians actually consume are imported. So we don't consume what we kill. We don't consume what we produce. So most of the things that Nigeria is more or less a consumer-dependent economy. So now, at the end of the day, much pressure will not be piled on the dollar because most of the things that we consume are imported. So because they are imported, it's not a country that is export-driven, or its economy is not export-driven, or even manufacturing-driven, rather import. So that high pressure now made it difficult to access dollar and now catapult the price of dollar to the roof. So when the importers import with that high exchange rates, it will be given that the price of commodities will go up. So the rate of inflation in Nigeria today is very, 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 very high. Even though it's not been maybe you may not be hearing it on the news or mainstream media, but that's just the dire situation Nigerians have found themselves today in. So the exchange rates has actually impacted heavily on the price of groceries or any commodity in Nigeria, because the country is more of mono economy. Mono economy depends in the sense that it depends solely on oil. So it has not been able to diversify its economy. So poverty actually is a key. Is a key. And poor governance has even made it more, has even added salt to injury, to my understanding.
Oh, can you please, out of curiosity, I request you to, what are the 3 or 4 major factors that contribute to the poverty of Nigerian?
The key things are corruption among top government officials. So you might have been hearing, even though the current government came in 2015 on the tripod that, okay, it will be coming to address the issue of poverty, to be coming to address the issue of insecurity, to coming to address the issue of economy. So, for these 3 legs or these 3 reasons why they wrote or what they actually campaigned for in 2015, they have failed, and not just failed, but failed woefully. Because today in Nigeria, Nigeria has become almost a killing field. So people no longer travel with rest of mind. So as people travel, they are very scared of traveling. You travel in the daytime, you don't feel safe. You travel at night, you don't feel safe. So poor governance is a key element. Poor governance. So corruption is there. we are being governed by the least among us. So a country that is being governed by the least among them, so you should expect that you wouldn't expect to see any reasonable growth in such country. So, and that's what we're actually experiencing in Nigeria today. So we are being ruled by the least among us. So, and it's very, very bad.
Yeah, just a curiosity, which is not related to your paper. In our time, when I was there happened to be a military coup. And there were lots of, I would say, barriers, but university sticker on the car always attracted a salute from the guards, and they would allow us to my mind, the teachers were in a very high esteem in Nigeria, which I never witnessed in any other country I have visited so far. So are they still holding the teachers of the university or the school in high esteem, or has there been any change in that?
Maybe I should respond to this question. Monday, let me respond to this question. You know, Professor Ambash, you know, when you were in Nigeria, Nigeria was a nation. I don't know whether you are familiar with the late novelist Chinua Achebe.
Yeah.
Chinua Achebe wrote a book and he said there was a country.
Yes.
Yeah, now that book, there was a country. Actually, there was a country called Nigeria before. And that was the time when you came to Nigeria and you saw all those things that you are talking about. After some time, things actually fell apart. And like right now, the academic staff, the Union of Nigerian Universities are contemplating to go on strike. And they have been going on strike from the time you left Nigeria for many times, all in an attempt to actually bring the government to understand the importance of education for economic and national development. But unfortunately, the government have not been giving attention to that. And that is not unconnected with what Monday has already said earlier on, the idea of poor governance and poor economic policies. So these are the major things affecting the economy of the country, and that prestige that you saw when you are here as a lecturer in a Nigerian university do no longer actually exist. You know, what is carrying the day to day is actually the politicians, because the government is giving more attention to the politicians. Okay, let me put in a perspective so that you can appreciate. A full professor who have been working for maybe an upward of 30 years, you know, will have a take-home salary of like say 500 and something thousand naira. In today's economy, 500 and something thousand naira is just equivalent of $1,000. Just equivalent of $1,000. So you can appreciate how terrible the situation is. When his counterpart in other countries are getting in excess of $5,700 to $10,000, a Nigerian professor is getting about $1,000. So now when you go to the politicians, the Nigerian politicians are actually among the well-paid politicians in the world. A typical politician in Nigeria, maybe a congressman or a senator. Let's take a senator, for instance. A senator may be collecting salaries in excess of $10,000. Now, compared to a professor who is collecting $1,000. So you can see the discrepancy and where the attention has actually gone to.
In my time, sir, the professor of a university was in grade level 15, and the governor of the state was grade level 16. And the principal secretary was still on grade level 14, a reader in 14, senior lecturer in 13. So I thought at that time, that Nigeria has realized the real potential of or the importance of education. And the kind of respect that we got even on the street was something very tremendous.
Very true. Very true. That respect is no longer there because of the government policies that have been put in place. You know, because of these successive, military regimes, they never gave attention to education. And right from the time that you experienced the coup of 1983, there have been several coups after that. The military, the way they are governed or the way they administer a country is different from the way the politicians do. Unfortunately, when the political regime returned, things have actually gone bad, so they never care to fix some of those problems.
Right. Thank you for updating me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Barnabas Don Borno, sir, and also the presenter Monday. Sir, thank you so much for your valuable presentation. I thank you all the presenters, and thank you for your efforts to make our human societies benefit out of your research. So, yeah, this is I'm going to close this session with a vote of thanks. So we are supposed to have this session yesterday, but we could not manage. Yesterday we had a long day. It has 12 papers yesterday presented. So each minute was a very important. So that's why I requested you have to join this session 10 a.m. to 12. So thank you all for joining us and at this closing session. And I should thank Professor N.K. Ambassador and Professor Dr. Vijay Prakash sir, Sharma sir, joining this and contributing your inputs to our scholars in this session. And also I appreciate our Governing Council, Honorable Professor Ravindranath Dugirala sir, for joining in and encouraging us and asking the important questions and helping these scholars to improve their way of collecting and presenting. And also, I really thankful to Professor Barnabas Don Borno sir. I called him in the morning 4 o'clock. Myself not able to, means the session is scheduled and this is the last final chance, and our Governing Council yesterday I discussed with them, no, it is not allowed to go another day. It is not, it will give a bad reputation, because we told in our notification that we will finish in 3 days, but in reality we could not plan parallel sessions, and we don't have that technology yet, so we failed to do that and requested them. Then they were kind to allow me to go for this session, and also I am thankful to the presenters. In the last night I contacted them, hey, still there is a possibility, would you do presentation? They are very cooperative. In the last minute this morning 4 o'clock I contacted Professor Barnabas sir. Even though his sleep was disturbed, and he was so kind and he cooperated. He has been contacting Monday, and finally he said, good news, yeah, I am able to contact him and he's ready now. So yeah, this session is very productive and I am very happy. And let me give a vote of thanks to our Governing Council members, Honorable Governing Council members. When I first proposed the National Applied Anthropology Congress, Anthropology for India, that was a huge dream at that time, because we were a newly formed organization, just came into existence in February 27th this year, 2021. So in March, we had the first governing council meeting where I proposed the National Applied Anthropology Congress on our agenda with the cooperation of our president, Professor V.Narayana Reddy garu. We kept on agenda, and our members are, oh, this is a new, we don't have funds, and we don't have, we have experience conducting a conference. We know how much it costs, and all those things, pragmatic issues were discussed at length. And finally, I thought it's not going to happen. But in the last minute, Professor Satyapal, P.D. Satyapal Kumar sir, from the Department of Anthropology from the Andhra University, he took his turn and he started speaking. When there is a vision and when there is a leadership, and when somewhere somehow we need to start the activities to translate our vision into reality. So someday we have to begin our work, and why don't we start now itself? And he gave the pandemic situation of the world, and it needs really anthropological leadership and anthropological gauge on the ongoing pandemic situation. So we need to encourage kind of thing. So then all our governing council members were convinced, and even though we don't have any clue where money will come from, and we proposed this conference to happen on the virtual mode because it is a cost effective, and it is easier to organize. So that way we came up with the brochure bringing the anthropological applications to address the contemporary issues. So that was the proposed topic, and it was approved by the governing council. And after that, little by little, in our small circles, we started publicizing that brochure in the networks. In that process, as the days are going by and dates are extended, and because we received a few papers, and again after receiving the abstracts, the dates are extended. Finally, the authors made a point that just before starting the conference, also we received papers. So yeah. Our sole motive as an organization, Anthropological Association for Humankind, as an organization, the sole focus is spreading the anthropological applications to solve human problems on this planet. So that is the sole motive. So we encourage the scholars and professors to think in that lines, and to contribute. If it is not a significant work, let us begin thinking in that way. So we encourage people. We had this presentations for the last 3 days. We had a wonderful time, very productive time, beyond my imagination. Things are happening, and so then the collective efforts of the governing council members, they are talking to their friends, and their friends started to the other friends. So in a snowball method, and things started happening in a more wonderful ways. So I think I should thank all our the governing council members, and my teacher, Professor Venkatrao sir, who encouraged me to start. I took up the responsibility of popularizing anthropology. How to popularize anthropology? We have to prove our relevance and our essence, our contributions to solving the human problems. That is the only space left for anthropology for its survival in future, for its not only survival, flourishment and sustainability of the discipline, because I believe that anthropology is a noble discipline who can study, not only study people comprehensively and holistically and empirically, but also contribute significantly for the flourishment and the peaceful social coexistence, and to be happy humans. So, and to be noble humans. This is a discipline which can really make a significant difference on the global humanity. So I believed it, and I started. I wrote a concept paper in 1990 September. So they then started casting the vision. Then people started responding, and in a more miraculous way. I mean, it's a wonderful way. People got connected and attracted and took the responsibility, and collective efforts started surfacing, and things started happening. This is our first public event, and I'm really thankful to all governing council members and all the advisory members. We have a very well accomplished national and international level and the senior professors who had a significant academic, not only academic accomplishments at the government level, the international level accomplishments. So I thank to them, each one, because of their association with the organization, and their names are on the website, their names are on the letterheads. So wherever this letterhead goes with the requisition, we need the considerable, we are getting attention of the government and government people. When our representatives are going and interacting with them, they are giving respect, and they're listening to our cause, and they're coming forward for MOUs, and things have started happening in a small way. I look forward for brighter and bigger and major things. So I thank all the advisory members for their moral support, intellectual support, and social support, and extending the network, and bringing many people into the fold of this Anthropological Association for Humankind. That for is our strength, for humankind, for people. So that is why this organization exists. That is why the organization perseveres. So yes, I should. Professor Satyapal sir is going very tough time, undergoing very tough time. His only son is suffering due to this fatal accident. He has some brain injury, some breakdown of this nasal cavity, and some fracture in the forehead. And through nasal cavity breakdown, the air is entering into the brain. So for the past 15 days, his only son is in the ICU, medical care. So, but he left his son and his wife in the hospital, and he came to all over here, spent 2 days with us, provided the leadership, and made all the necessary arrangements. I thank him, his commitment to the discipline, his commitment to the governing council. He is a governing council member. He donated 1 lakh rupees, and he did everything beyond our imagination. This conference happened because of his commitment. As a single individuals, we can do nothing, but this individual made a wonderful contribution. There is another person, Sri G. Reddy Garu. We don't know him, but Dr. Ananda Garu introduced him to us. And while I was talking, how are you coping up with the finance? He said, we don't have any finance. I said, then he said, he said he transferred 1 lakh rupee, and things started getting momentum. I'm thankful to all the presenters. Our dream started surfacing from the dream to vision, from vision to passion of the few people, the passion and strategy, and from strategy to human resources. Slowly things are happening. I'm very happy, and I'm thankful to all the presenters for making this conference very productive. I encourage them to participate in the upcoming World Congress. World Applied Anthropology Congress that is going to happen in the US. We have our significant international governing council member, Professor Rabindranath Dugirala sir, took all the passionate initiative to come things together. He took the full responsibility of organizing the World Congress in the 2022, and he introduced the Professor, our Vice President, Dr. Bartholomew C. Dean, and Dr. Kiran Jairam sir, and Professor Michael H. Crawford, and Professor John Blangero, and Professor Barnabas Don Borno from Nigeria, and even Professor Michael J. O'Brien, and Professor Loreno Madrigal, and there is many others are going to come. So I am thankful to Professor Rabindranath Dugirala sir. I never imagined this will take off this much speed, and it is going with a jet speed, and by people like you, sir. And my heart is filled with gratitude to all these significant leaders who are part of this vision and making this vision into a reality. At the end of the day, what are the problems we are addressing? What are the solutions we offer to our governments and the fellow humans to improve their respectful, responsible, and productive life of our fellow citizens? Our mission is to make human beings to be human, to have a glorious future for humanity, corruption-free, crime-free, caste-free, and virtue-loaded, and peace-loaded, and a happy life for humanity, which humanity very much deserve. We respect humans. We want to cultivate the virtues for which gives us a bright future for our future generations. With this, I thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor PVGD Prasad Reddy sir, for his permission and cooperation of using the campus venues and facilities, and also encouraging the American Corner to be partner, which is located here in the campus of Andhra University. I am thankful to Dr. Joe Christopher, the Public Affairs Assistant Public Affairs Officer based at Hyderabad, for his initiative to bring the American Consulate into the fold to collaborate with this national, not only in the National Applied Anthropology Congress, Anthropology for India, NAACAFI 2021, and at the upcoming WACAF, the World Applied Anthropology Congress, Anthropology for Humankind, the 2022. So I thank American Corner, the American Consulate, the top leadership, and the ground people who delivered the Fulbright lectures for Fulbright scholarship to facilitate ahead of time. They're giving awareness to our anthropology scholars and fraternity so that they might get benefit out of these possibilities to explore the possibilities on Fulbright scholarships. So I thank the Department of Anthropology and the guest faculty and the professor, the head of the department, the Dr. D. Ramesh Garu, and his assistants with me and with our team. I thank our Vice President, Dr. Ananda Gandikota. I told him, if President is not available, you are there. If you can come over, that will be of great help to me. I just told one sentence. Then immediately he booked his flight ticket and dropped in, and he's 65 years old, and this is a pandemic time. So he took all the risk. His son is a doctor, gold medalist, his son. So he says, Daddy, never remove your mask, kind of thing. So every day, day to day, he is informing his son, son, you be sure that I will never remove the mask. So that way things are happening. And Dr. Ananda Garu, he exhausted, and now he's enjoying going around the temples, and now he's not here. But yeah, I benefited from his leadership, and we have all seen in the presentations and how he chaired, how he brought his practical experiences and his motivational speeches to the anthropology students, while students were posing questions to him regarding the future of anthropology and the future of job prospects. So I thank our president V.Narayana Reddy Garu in this session. He is the chairperson. Finally, I could get connected to him or phone. So finally he chaired the meeting and started the meeting, and he left because of his busy commission schedule. So I thank all the members, the students here in Andhra University, particularly Department of Anthropology, are very friendly, very cooperative, very nice. I enjoyed their warmth and the cooperation in making the physical arrangements. The guest faculty, particularly, very nice. I like them. So wonderful things happened, and we look forward for the we want to send these papers for peer review and to further suggestions. I expect all the presenters to go through the suggestions given during the presentations. After the presentations also, there will be some important suggestions and requisitions for the furthermore clarity, so that very near future we will go for publishing the proceedings with the permission of the authors. If some others contacted me not to publish in the proceedings, we will respect them. And some others, they encourage to go for this proceeding. So based on our, we will continue our dialogue, and we will continue to, we are also going to start a journal of applied anthropology. So, with this, a few things, if I forget, we made a major blunder. We could not invite all the senior professors of Andhra University, particularly Department of Anthropology. I thought it will be coordinated by the head of the department, and he failed to do that. But yesterday night onwards, I started contacting them over phone, taking the phone numbers and started contacting them. They said that it is very unpleasant, you should have contacted. So we apologize as an organization, Anthropological, on behalf of the Anthropological Association for Humankind. I sincerely express my apologies and seek their forgiveness. Because when I'm searching for the legacy and the honoring them and things, they were not informed. But by seeing in the newspaper notifications, some professors came on the inaugural session. They felt they expressed their solidarity. So Professor Reddy Garu, I contacted him last night, and Professor K.E. Rajpramukh Garu, I contacted him last night. So I'm going to visit him, and I'm going to. I also contacted the Professor J. Naidu Garu, and so I'm going to meet all the senior professors today after this thing, and express my apologies personally. Should not have happened, but it happened. It is not planned, but I don't know. I'm sorry for the poor leadership from my side. So I. From this platform, I seek their forgiveness and ask for, we will not repeat this kind of unhealthy atmosphere in future. I assure that. I thank them for their legacy. This is the major department in the South India, the oldest department, and they have produced significant leaders in anthropology. One of the leader, is our Professor Ravindranath Dugirala sir, and the world reputed medical anthropologist and applied anthropologist. So I thank Professor N.K. Ambas sir, and I thank the the chairs, Professor Vijay Sahai sir, who chaired the first meeting. And I thank all the chairmen of the different sessions. With the few remarks, I close this session. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Yeah, Dr. Pedratya, you have done a great job, tremendous job. Congratulations to you and to everybody. You know, you have done a fantastic job. Which you should be proud of yourself actually for what you have done, you know, within a short time. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you all, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Looking forward to have a wonderful partnership in taking this discipline ahead.
Hi, Dr. Sharma. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Yeah, bye. Bye, Dr. Pedratya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I thank you all. I'm going to end this meeting. Thank you so much.